السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. All praises be to Allah. We praise Him. We seek His help. We seek His forgiveness. We believe in Him. We trust in Him. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of our own selves and our own actions. Whoever Allah guides, none can misguide. Whoever Allah leaves astray, there's no guidance for him. I bear witness that none deserves to be worshipped except Allah. He is one without partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is his servant and his messenger. As to what comes after, we say all praise and thanks be to Allah, who is recognized without being seen, who creates without trouble, who sent the Qur'an. A Qur'an that orders to do good, that orders to refrain from doing bad. A Qur'an that is silent and yet it speaks. It will be the proof of Allah before creation. It will be a witness against creation. Allah Almighty guarantees happiness in this life and in the hereafter for those who adhere to its commands. And He threatens those who turn away from it. Allah Almighty did not let Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam leave this world until after He conveyed to the people commands and guidance through the Qur'an. Make the Qur'an your guide towards Allah, and do not trust your own opinions and views against it. Exercise taqillah, exercise consciousness of Allah. Know that many people have looked into the Qur'an. Many people, be they Jews, Christians, Buddhists, even atheists, they have looked into the Qur'an, they have considered Islam, but the devil, Shaitan, he stops them. He whispers to them to wait, wait. You have plenty of time before you accept Islam. You have plenty of time before you become a Muslim. He whispers to him to ask, why? Why is this Quran not in chronological order? They didn't say, oh, this Quran is confusing. But the Quran is not confusing. The Quran is the miracle, the revelation sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam by way of the angel Jibreel alayhi salam. Today, after more than 1400 years, it remains the same, in context unchanged. And Allah promised this. Allah promised this when He said, "Inna nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun." Verily it is we who sent down the dhikr, the reminder, the Quran, and we will surely guard it. Know that every prophet was given a miracle that they showed during their lifetime. For example, Musa alayhi salam, Moses, was given a stick. Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, cured the sick and made the dead alive. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Ma min nabiyyun min al-anbiya'i illa wa qad utiya min al-ayat." There was no prophet from among the prophets, except that he was given signs so that the people would believe in him. He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, what I have been given is divine revelation from Allah. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was given the miracle of Qur'an. The Qur'an is a naziran wa bashiran. It is a warner and bringer of glad tidings. It warns the disbelievers of a severe punishment. And it gives glad tidings to believers, those who do good deeds. For them, the Quran is a healing and a mercy. Allah has said, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. And we send down of the Quran that which is a healing and a mercy for those who believe, but no increase for the wrongdoers. It does not increase the wrongdoers in nothing, naught, except loss, meaning loss to their own souls. You see, for those who believe in the Quran and accept it as truth, the Quran is a spiritual healing. It cures the heart of spiritual diseases. Diseases such as confusion, ignorance, shirk, and nifaq, hypocrisy. Thereby allowing a person to attain some faith and understanding. But for those who disbelieve in the Quran and reject it, the Quran does nothing for them except increase them in disbelief and in ignorance, and that is their loss. Many people have read the Quran and they become amazed that the Quran mentions a number of sciences. Sciences like biology and genealogy and astronomy. Sciences that were completely unknown during the time of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Quran is first and foremost a book of guidance. Yet everyone who reads it will not be guided by it. You see, if you approach the Quran with humility, looking for answers, searching for truth, Allah will open up the heart. And you will receive some guidance from it. But if a person approaches the Quran with a disdainful attitude, looking to find fault with it, looking to criticize it, their heart will remain closed to it. And rather than receiving guidance from it, they will be misguided by it. This is a fact that the Quran itself makes clear. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 26. It states that Allah is not ashamed to coin a similitude, a parable like that of a gnat or a mosquito or something more, something less than that. And that those who believe, they understand these parables. They know that it is the truth from their Lord. But those who disbelieve, they're confused by these parables. Totally confused. And they say, what does Allah intend by these parables? What does He intend by the similitude? And Allah says, يُدِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. By it, we mislead many, and by it, we guide many. وَمَا يُدِلُّ بِهِ إِلَّا الْفَاسِقِينَ. But He does not misguide any. He does not mislead none, except for the fasiqeen. Fasiqeen, those who are rebellious, disbelievers and hypocrites and the like. Now this verse does not mean that Allah purposely misguides or misleads people. No. Allah does not purposely misguide or mislead anyone. What He does is leave those who are rebellious to themselves without His guidance. They therefore go astray on their own. And whoever Allah leaves to stray, فَمَلَهُ مِنْ هَادٍ. For him there is no God. You know, when Islam began to spread out of Arabia and into other parts of the world, the Quran was translated into other languages as an aid towards the understanding of its message. However, translations of the Quran have never been accepted as a substitute for the actual written printed text. And in truth, there is no translation of the Quran. There is only an interpretation of it, which is why tafsir, exegesis, or the explanation of the meaning of the Qur'an, is a very important science. Without tafsir, there would not be no right understanding of the various obscure verses in the Qur'an. And the best tafsir of the Qur'an is when the Qur'an explains the Qur'an. For example, in Surah Al-Dukhan, it says that the Qur'an was sent down on a blessed night, right? إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ مُبَارَكَةٍ. Verily, we sent it down on a blessed night. So what was this blessed night? The answer in Surah Al-Qadr. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ الْقَدْرِ. Verily, we sent it down on the night of power. So you see, what may be generalized in one verse may be detailed in another. The next best tafsir is the explanation of the Qur'an by the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His explanations can be found in the Hadith, i.e. his Sunnah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ala inni utitu al-Qur'an wa mithlahu ma'ahu." Indeed, I was given the Qur'an and something like it with it. Meaning his Sunnah, his explanations, his sayings, actions, and approvals. Allah has said, وَلَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Surely in the Messenger of Allah you have a good example. After the explanation of the Quran by the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, comes the explanation of the Quran by his companions, of which the Prophet's cousin, Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, was considered to be the most knowledgeable among them in tafsir. He was sometimes referred to as Tarjuman al-Quran, the Quran's interpreter. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had supplicated on his behalf to Allah, saying, Allahumma alamuhul kitab. Oh Allah, teach him the book, meaning the Quran. Lastly comes the explanation of the Quran by those of the second and third generation, tabi'un wa tabi'in. Note that the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were very concerned about having the right understanding of the Quran. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said that whenever any one of us would learn 10 verses of the Quran, he would not move on to any other verses until after he comprehended the meaning of those verses and acted on them in daily life. And they were very careful about quoting the Quran without knowledge. And we should be very careful about quoting the Quran without knowledge, because it is like quoting Allah without knowledge. After all, the Quran is Allah's book. It is His message to mankind. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmiddin. For those who are just joining us, we were talking about the Quran And we mentioned that the Qur'an is a miracle, which is what most Muslims believe it is. However, if we are to argue that the Qur'an is a miracle, we have to first know what a miracle is. A miracle can be defined as some highly unusual act that cannot be explained, nor can it be repeated, nor duplicated, which is believed to be caused by some kind of divine intervention. Now, note that the Quran has held up against the challenge to duplicate it. Allah had challenged the Arabs to produce something like it. What was that challenge? The challenge was to produce 3 lines of their poetry, of course, in the language of Arabic, that is not in the form of prose, that is of high speech, and that contain in it a comprehensive meaning. Now, mind you, the Quran was revealed in 7 aruf, right? 7 modes to facilitate a better understanding of it among the Arabs who spoke different dialects. Yet, even in their own dialect, none were able to produce anything like it. And it's not like no one had tried. Note that before Amr ibn al-As accepted Islam, before he became a Muslim, he used to sit with and keep company of Musaylima. Musaylima al-Kadhab, Musaylima the liar. Musaylima, to give you some background, Musaylima had claimed that he was a prophet. He did not say that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was not a prophet. He said he was a prophet along with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now Musaylima was well known for doing magic acts, magic tricks. This is what helped most people who were gullible to believe that he was a prophet. Tricks like taking the egg and making it disappear as a whole egg into the bottle, or plucking the feathers off a bird and then gluing the feathers back on, and the bird would then be able to fly. He was also versed in poetry. And being that he said he was a prophet, this kept him in constant competition with the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the Qur'an. So every time a revelation came down to the Prophet, Musaylima would try to imitate it. For example, when the surah Inna Ataynaka al-Kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar came down, verily we have given you al-Kawthar, so pray to your Lord and sacrifice. Musaylima will read Inna Ataynaka al-Jannah, verily we have given you paradise, so pray and rest. And that's what he would say came down to him. When the surah Alam Tara Kayfa Fa'ala Rabbuka bi Ashabil Fil came down, have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the owners of the elephant? Musaylima will read Al-Fil Ma Fil wa ma adraka ma Fil Sanubu Hazil wa Qurtum Tawil. He said the elephant. What is the elephant? What will make you know what the elephant is? It has a skinny tail and a long trunk. And that is what he said was revealed to him. So now he says to Amr ibn al-As, has anything come down to your friend? Did your friend receive any revelation? Amr ibn al-As was not yet a Muslim. Yet he knew some of the Quran. He said, well, yes, a very short but concise surah has just been revealed to him. Musaylama said, what is it? Amr ibn al-As recites, wal-asri, innal insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Right? He says, by time, or by the declining day, surely man is in loss except for those who believe and do good deeds and exhort one another to truth and exhort one another to patience. Musaylama heard this. And he thought for a moment. And he said, oh, well, what has just been revealed to me? Amr ibn al-As looked at him. He said, really? What was it? Musaylama recites, Ya Wabar, you only 2 ears in the chest. That was it. He was referring to some kind of long-eared, furry, bunny-type creature. After he finished, he looked at Amr ibn al-As. He said, so, what do you think of that? Amr ibn al-As, again, wasn't a Muslim yet, but looked at him. He said, Wallahi, Allah, you know that I know that you are a liar. And the point being, Musaylama nor anyone else was able to produce anything like the Quran. And until this day, no one has met the challenge to produce anything like that which is in the Quran. Know that every single word of the Quran was divinely revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, which may explain why expressions like quote, say, or tell have been retained, preserved, and they are recited. The first original copy of the Quran was compiled during the Caliphate of Abu Bakr. When he died, he passed it on to his successor, Omar. When he died, he left it with his daughter, Hafsa, who was one of the widows of the Messenger of Allah. She then passed it on to Omar's successor, Uthman, who then critically analyzed its authenticity before ordering for its recension and to make copies of it. The Qur'ans that we have in our hands today, in Hafs, have been reproduced from that. They are the same in language and in context is that which was originally revealed to Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than 1400 years ago. In fact, a copy of Uthman's personal Quran is still in existence today in a museum in Istanbul, Turkey. How do we know? Because it still has his bloodstains on it from when they stabbed him. And so Allah has kept his promise to guard this Quran by having the Muslims themselves protect his words. And this is why we believe that the Quran is a miracle. A miracle that will last until the day of judgment. For as long as there are Muslims in the world, and there are 3.5 million in the United States alone, which they have on record. So as long as there are Muslims in this world, there will be the recitation of the Quran. And we ask Allah to confer on us His grace through the Quran. We ask Allah to make it a light and a guidance for us We ask Allah to grant us understanding of the Qur'an. We ask Allah to have mercy on us, forgive us our sins, to protect us from the evil of the evil ones, to bless us. We ask Allah to give us good, do not deprive us, to grace us and do not disgrace us, to help us and do not forsake us. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم اهدنا وأدبنا ويسر الهدى علينا واجعلنا مفاتيح للخير ومغالق للشر اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا الا غفرته ولا هما الا فرجته ولا دينا الا قضيته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا ولكن رضي الله قضيتها يا ارحم الراحمين ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تمسك قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمه انك انت الوهاب ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى اله واصحابه اجمعين والاخر دعوانا ان الحمد لله رب العالمين. اقيموا الصلاه.